I think my feeling to the youngsters who are coming in this field, whether it's in basis and other things and all of the things, they need to have the business knowledge if they are coming from a technical background. And if they're coming from the business background, they should have the technical side. I think we need to, there is a term which I heard from one of the Stanford professor. It's called the purple people. They said, the blue color represent technical know-how and the red color represent the business know-how. When you mix both of them, you get a color purple. We need more purple people. And I would say it can be either way. It's not a kind of agnostic to which area, but they need to upgrade themselves because the technology is changing very fast. Even the SAP landscape is changing very fast with all the BTP and other things which is coming. I would say it's time, people have to also look into the ITGC part of that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the SAP Security Expert Podcast. I'm your host, Raghu Boddu. This podcast brings you conversations with industry veterans, thought leaders, and innovators who are shaping the future of SAP security, GRC, cybersecurity, and AI. Through their stories, experiences, and insights, we aim to inspire professionals, share practical knowledge, and strengthen the global SAP security community. If you enjoy this conversation, don't forget to subscribe and follow us on our social media channels. Today, have the pleasure of introducing Anand Prakash Jangid. Anand doesn't call himself a CEO, a CTO, or even a founder. Instead, he goes by the title Chief Change Agent. And by the end of this conversation, you'll understand exactly why this title. Anand is a chartered accountant, a CISA and a CISM with nearly 2 decades of experience spanning IT risk, SAP, access controls, internal audit, forensics, and enterprise risk management. His career has taken him across industries and across the globe, from conducting anti-money laundering investigations to leading enterprise risk management engagements to mentoring future leaders as a visiting professor at IIM Bangalore. Today, as a chief change agent at AJA Labs, Anand is at the forefront of building AI-powered solutions that are transforming audit, forensics, finance, and enterprise governance. What makes Anand's journey truly remarkable is not just his impressive credentials or the organizations he has worked with. It's his mindset. As he often says, he's a small town boy driven by curiosity, continuous learning, and a passion for creating meaningful change. That mindset has taken him from traditional risk and compliance into the rapidly evolving world of AI. In this episode, we'll explore his journey, his perspectives on the future of SAP, audit, and AI, and the lessons he has learned along the way. So sit back, relax, and join us for what promises to be an insightful and inspiring conversation. Let's dive in. So welcome, Anand, for this episode.
Thank you, Raghu. It's really a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So SAP Security Expert is a very specific niche portal that we are developing, to bring on various information or I would say our expertise onto the portal so that we want to really share with all the fellow security and GRC experts. And then having you as one of the guests for our podcast is something which is really, really great. So before I start, Anand, I want to understand, what made you to keep your title as Chief Change Agent? What is the reason behind that?
No, that's a very nice question, Raghu. And first of all, thanks a lot for having me here. It's always a great. I would say it's a mutual respect I have for you because I have told you also many times that I have saved your number as SAP Security Expert, top expert in my phone. I always believe that. And having here, it's a good one. So I'll just tell you the reason why we were doing it up. One of the things which I was actually very, I've been actually reading a lot, and as you are aware of that, I have been also, working at IIM Bangalore and all the things with the academicians. One of the words which actually hit me was in any transformation, change agent has a very important role. So when we started AJ Labs, our thought process is that we want to be the change agent for the finance and audit area where we can actually bring the smart tech which is possible in that area, especially in the SAP and Oracle landscape, but primarily from SAP side. And that time we were actually thinking that why we should call ourselves as consultant. I think we are all basically change agents. The team which I work for, I have an amazing team, and there have been some great minds which are working on this one. So we call ourselves more as change agents, and because my role is more on project management and leading this transformation across the thing, because many times when we go to the client, this is something new, they've not tried it up and all thing we have been doing, and that's where we bring it out the name of chief change agent, because my job is to make sure that they are all my change agents are there at the client to move it up. So that is the story behind this chief change agent actually.
Great. So I always tell my clients, like, change is must and change is now. So
Yes.
so there is nothing called tomorrow where you have to wait for a change. Right. I think, yeah, that really makes sense. So want to understand your path, as a key anti-money laundering person working for Goldman Sachs in Tokyo, then heading ERM in Infosys. Then I often see that you go to IIM, give classroom lectures. In ICAI, you spend a lot of time in, throwing your expertise. So want to really understand maybe a single thread connecting all these.
Okay, the single thread which is connecting all of that is, I think, I was somewhere lucky to be at the right place at the right time, I would say. And I had the single thread which actually connects is like the crossbreed between technology and functional. That's something which is there. My career actually started from, you can see, as a chartered accountant, I was basically a numbers guy. I started with audit and finance, but it so happened that I was always interested in that. And the first time when you see SAP, it was like a different world open up for you and all of the things. That was when I was in my first job, Aditya Birla Group, and then I moved to Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs give you a kind of a global exposure where you are dealing with AML and other area where data was very important. And we always say data is the new oil. But basically at that time also people used to say data is the new oil, you have to become the refinery. And if you become the refinery, then only you can actually make sense out there. So that was a connection which was there. And then I also wanted to dabble into consulting. So that's Infosys ERM practice came into picture. And that's where we actually started working extensively in SAP GRC domain, the ACPC and other things. And then we realized that, enterprises are actually having a huge amount of data. And sometimes they are doing multiple things in multiple way, but there is no integrated way. And then the journey took me more on to, in between I had some health concerns. I had a small heart attack and I had a stent in my heart. So I quit my corporate job and I was actually for some time I was in academics. So that's how I am and other things came into picture, I say. And even today, I would say I get pretty excited because when you teach or you are discussing or facilitating a class, you have to know more about the subject than the person you are actually dealing with. So it makes you disciplined in terms of updating it. And all these things actually comes into one part which I actually told you that there is a word for that. I just heard it. I'm just sharing with you. It's a kind of a mixture of academicians and practitioners. So academician and practitioners, there's a new word for that. They call practidemia. Practidemia, they call it up. So people who basically work it up. So you are a practitioner in this area and academics is more from that. So it's a kind of a mix which I am trying to be. I'm not saying I'm good at that, but I'm trying my best to go into that area. We use a lot of we go to ResearchGate, one of the site where you get a lot of research papers and we get some algorithms which you have been using in our work. So it's a kind of a mix of that. I would say that's my thought process of that.
Right. So maybe Anand, you are a chartered accountant. You know technology. You know the industry, right? How it is in the industry. You work with big players, system integrators, and all. So what do you see now with the artificial intelligence, machine learning coming up? And since you are also building a lot of products in this space, do you think tech is replacing the jobs, or is it somehow removing the inefficiencies? What do you feel?
I would say actually this is a $1 million question. Actually, everyone, there are a lot of people talking about that, a lot of being written about that. My personal take on this is, I'm sure Raghu, you have also seen the kind of the evolution of SAP. There was a time when I got into SAP, we used to say that our job is secure because nothing is going to happen till we die. We will have something to do. That used to be a kind of mindset that time because it was very vast and all thing. But what has happened is, what I actually see, I think somewhere my take is that you need to have a dual, area of expertise. Technology is now taken for granted. In fact, I learned one new word at one of the SAP TechEd, which was citizen developer, and they said that in time to come, everyone will develop their own things, and it's happening with Jules and other things. People are saying it up. But the thought process which I have it is that if you are a person who understands the function, let's say it can be anything. I can be an expert in sales side or any of the thing process side and technology, then these people are irreplaceable. It applies to even developer who are actually getting into this or want to know we used to always have the domain knowledge is important when I was in Infosys, and the same thing is for the domain guys to know all of the thing. I think it is not going to replace it up, but yes, there is the role will change a lot. And as you rightly said, in our role also where we are working, we have a bunch of chartered accountant and engineers who works together to develop solutions for the organizations right now, and they are very different than what used to happen at one point of time. So that's a kind of my 2 cents on this, I would say, which is there.
Okay. So since you are also a chartered accountant, maybe I'm throwing a couple of questions in that space. For auditors specifically, what is that one thing you feel should be never handed to a machine?
Very good question, actually. Wow, this is actually making me think now. I would say judgment call humans can take a better thing. I have always a kind of a theory which I always believe. Whatever the autonomous systems we can build up, there should be a human in the loop has to be there. Mm-hmm. So the judgment call, the final call on judgment has to be taken by humans only. Let's say, for example, if I say from a finance perspective, I can build some of the best solutions for treasury management in SAP or any of the thing. But ultimately, the final decisions has to be taken by someone who's a treasury manager who understands the context. Machines are good, very good. AI machines, autonomous machines are very good. But there are somewhere we need to have that control point, we call it as human in the loop. And that's something which I think would be a key differentiator. That's my thought process.
Okay. I also heard a lot, from you about AI in IA, which is internal audit, right? Auditing.
Yes.
So want to hear more. I also see that AI in IA in your, on the rear of your t-shirt.
It's always on our t-shirt. It's actually a kind of a tagline. That's something very important. Actually, what we started with, and Raghu, you are aware of what we do, our journey so far. We were little ahead of the time. Somewhere in 2017-18, we started playing with AI in IA because IA or internal audit function deals with a huge amount of data, and many times what happens is we think, oh, we are very good with that, but there are a lot of tools, and I always say that it is not just generative AI which came in 2022. Machine learning, deep learning, and there are computer vision, multiple AI solutions which can be built out there. So our idea was, how can we put these solutions for our client to solve the actual problems, and that was the whole idea there. So as you rightly said, we put 2000. This was around 2017-18. We got this T-shirt design and we put it up to all our team member, our friends circle. We call it, we are putting AI in IA. And in fact, it used to be very hilarious that airport and our thing, people will sometimes ask question like, one time someone came and says, what is this IA? Is it Indian Army? We said, no, it's a internal audit. So, people ask that kind of question, but it's had been our tagline for a long time. Yes.
Yeah, it really makes sense. So one important question that I want to ask here, because many of the security folks, GRC folks, they always were part of these internal and external audits. wherein
Right.
majority of the time the audit is carried out based on sampling, right? Instead of doing a
Yes.
full, what do you say, every transaction doesn't get audited. So, how do you think now AI can be a better replacement or better judgment in terms of doing this audit?
Oh, that's actually a very important point which you raised it up. Still now all the judgments or all the calls which were taken by the auditors was based on sampling. Now there was a time when it was not possible to boil the ocean. When I say boil the ocean, take the whole population out. But today it is very much possible. We remember there was a time when we used to do some sample SOD reviews and all the things and say if it is okay, it is fine. But your company also makes some of the solutions which are very interesting, which I have seen it up in action and I was very impressed. Because the idea is gone are the days when you can do sampling. If you're doing it, we are trying to, I would say cheat ourselves and says, okay, this is a good situation. And I am also seeing audit committees, and I was actually at one of the IOD event. Audit committees are becoming very, very aggressive right now, and that is
Yes.
something which I would say this is now a kind of a joint responsibility of audit committee from a governance perspective, from the GRC experts who are working on the team and the auditors to basically bring out everything together. So it has to be coming out from detective to preventive, and people have to come out with this informations out there. In fact, we call it as a kind of concept of digital twin where we can actually
Yep.
do these things just like we used to do in SAP GRC AC, simulate that what if will happen if I actually
What
get
if
this to
happens?
access. Those kind of thing has to become mainstream, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. So one other maybe what is the example that I want to speak here,
Uh-huh.
Anand, maybe which is really important for all the audience of this podcast. Uh, you know, the risk management is beyond what it was 10 years
Yes.
back or 15 years back. So 15 years ago, we were looking at, okay, is there a conflicting access to any user, like a person who is creating a vendor should not release a payment.
Right.
As long as it is separated, the auditor is happy, everyone is happy, right?
Yes.
But in one of the client, when we actually did a complete study of it, these two activities are separated from a SOD standpoint and a risk management standpoint. These are two separate activities. But then the same user logged into the system, changed the vendor master, and he knows the username and password of his manager or the colleague. So he went ahead and then performed the other activity which is conflicting, right? So today it is beyond a
Beyond that.
typical risk management, and I think that is these kind of cases can be easily identified with AI in place, right?
Very much, very much. In fact, you have brought out one of the, you actually opened a Pandora box. I'll give you one more example on this one. As you rightly said, this used to be a kind of thing we used to be very happy. We used to do that, the role and everything and take care of that, and it was great. But today the expectation has gone even SAP and non-SAP applications also. They want to see
Yeah.
that in our complete landscape of application universe, this person can do these things in SAP, but he should not do these things in this one. And those kind of things I have heard from you only, which some of the engagement which you have been doing. These are the future which we see it up, where the risk, as you rightly said, is no more that box thing that okay, we do this, there's a tick box and it will work it out. You have to think, and there are if you see one very interesting report, ACFE 2026 report to the nation, they said that around 37% of the frauds which has happened in their sample size, they found that SOD was one of the issue, which means they are not having proper segregation of duties, not having proper controls was a big issue, and that's something which comes up out there.
Yeah, yeah. And the other point, what I generally see is because you develop products, we
Yes.
develop products, right? Personally, I have that experience, and then we know what is needed for enterprises today and tomorrow,
Yes.
right? But one pattern, what I normally see when we go to customers or talk to customers, they see my auditor is not really worried about this piece now. It is not an audit mandate for us now, right?
Yes.
When
Yes.
something goes wrong, probably we'll look at it. So what is that you want to really tell for these mindsets?
So I think this is a very interesting thing. I have seen it up. I have seen three categories of institutions, which are, I say, enterprises, which are there. One institutions or enterprises, I was very fortunate to work with leaders out there, audit leaders as well as finance leaders. They were always coming out with new ideas. Like imagine in 2017, someone telling me that, Anand, I want to do process mining. It is like, people would have not even heard what is process mining. They wanted to see that how the processes are flowing and all the thing. So there are people who are leaders in that thing, they experiment it up. But there are also, then there are extreme side which is there, which says, as you rightly said, the mandate. But I always say one thing, Raghu, this is, you will actually figure it out. You'll find that this kind of organizations are slowly going over. Like basically this is actually become, because the word audit LC means to listen. And if you are just listening what is selective to you, you are not doing justice to the kind of task. So this is becoming a big issue and they are losing money. They are not even knowing that they are losing money. There are frauds happening and other things. And there it will be a kind of thing of the management to take a kind of call to take that forward. Because yes, many times auditors will actually go for a what we call it as minimal certification, or what we call it as like, okay, we say that everything is hanky-dory and everything.
It's a minimum viable
product, we call it up, you can say that. But yeah, they will actually meet with the compliance and other things which are there, but not doing it. But it is in the interest of the organization to basically try to do it up there.
Correct.
And even I think this used to happen 7-8 years back. Now the regulatory roles, you are seeing it up, the auditors resigning, the share market, the rates of the company share will fall down and all things. We have seen this kind of thing happening. So now there is a kind of a new breed of auditors who are very, very aggressive on this one. They are trying to do. I think this is going to be a interesting pivot, I would say, happening.
Correct. I think beyond compliance, beyond audit mandates, it is the reputation what matters end of the day.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, very much. And I would say also what you rightly said, reputation. These are some of the areas. If they spend some time, it can be a kind of BAU, business as usual. It can keep on working. The tools are basically kind of accelerators for this one. Something which you are building, another thing I've seen it. Once you set it up, it makes life easier. And it is something which is need of the hour also. Because I think time has come where organizations, whether they like it or not, they have to basically use this accelerator to do the things faster.
Correct. Yeah. So maybe I'm asking you a little lengthy question now.
Yeah.
You have almost 8+ products that you developed, spanning across control monitoring, gross to net, forensics, legal, supply chain, entity health, all those things. Luckily, you're not competing with us. Maybe we are complementing each other.
Yes.
Right. Now, first question is, I want to understand, is it a portfolio that you have built or is it a platform? What is that one idea in developing so different products, right? And my second question is how companies are accepting these products. For example, if you look at a compliance monitoring or a forensic product, especially customers who are on SAP, what is that acceptance? Do you think they have the required knowledge of this product, what it does and all those stuff?
Okay. No, I'll answer your question in two parts. The first part, why we actually developed so many of the things. There is a very interesting journey we started. We started as more of a consulting organization. We were never a product company and all thing. And it so happened that we had some mentors who said that you are doing so much of work on solving problem. Why don't you do it? And I took an inspiration, and if you know, we are called ajlabs.ai. The reason the labs, we use the word there very extensively. We want to do some experiment, and I'm sure a lot of your audience and you would have heard about the concept of Google graveyard. We see Google is a great company, but Google has a graveyard of a lot of products which has not worked. We wanted to experiment. And our idea was very simple. We had fixed ourselves, we'll work in two domains, audit and finance. We are not going to go into other area because we are not expert in that. In audit and finance, whichever is touch points are there, like supply chain and all thing, we will work on that. We started with, as you rightly said, multiple products, 7-8 of them we started on that. Then we try to put everything under two umbrellas. We call one as CompliBear, which is for audit and risk management perspective. So it actually covers the whole life cycle of that one. We have tried to plug and play our solutions under that thing. Like as you mentioned, gross to net. Gross to net was actually meant only for pharma companies in US. We actually built it up for them because they have these challenges in Obamacare and all things. They wanted to do it. So we wanted to bring everything under CompliBear, landscape. And second, I used to hear, I'm sure Raghu, you would have also heard it, that would have given inspiration for happening toggle now, because we always used to hear that Indians cannot make world-class product. We always has to, there is to be a word for us. I know it's sounds bad, but it is to be called cyber coolies, that we are good at just running the shows, we can't build up. So we thought, let's try to do our bit. Maybe we'll fail, we will succeed, we don't know. But we wanted to kit up something like Make in India for the world. So we also came out with this solution called Vitora. So it's called with Aura, the Vitora, which is like actually meant for the CFO office. And we tried to build up something on the digital twin, treasury, because I was working always in these areas of making up simulations and all the thing. I thought it will be interesting to do that. So right now we actually try to bring it only on this two major, I would say, ecosystem. Yes, we are building. And one of the second answer which I wanted to do, why so many? This is a very interesting question. We got incubated by IIM Bangalore, NS Raghav Center for Entrepreneurship. So there we had some good mentors on SaaS and other things, some of the big brain in India. And they used to tell us one thing very interesting. You can't build a product which is like one size fit all. Either you should actually have a mass product, but when you are in a B2B kind of space, you can't say one product will fit all. Like two SAP implementations are not same. SAP is there, but it has to be customized. So we call our product more as a customized and orchestrated product, which is like, a mix of 90% is ready. It has to be customized for the client and taken. We have to understand the Z tables, Z code, other things, and then we will put it out there. So that's our journey so far. And I would say a lot of learning. We had a lot of, pivots. We did it. We also learned a lot. You would have remember, I have also come to you for some advice many times. And you have given some amazing advice. So we have been working on that. We don't say we are good, but by God's grace, we have got a lot of good clients who are actually working with us. And it's a journey so far. So far, so good.
Fantastic. Yeah. So since you are some of the products, especially I'm much more interested in hearing about CompliBear because it is compliance, automation, right? Control monitoring and automation. Yes. So want to hear a little more and maybe how is it a competing product to process control or?
No, we will say process control is on a different domain, but yes, there are some areas on the PC side which we would have taken some inspiration from. Our idea was to build up an autonomous control monitoring thing. So when we say autonomous, if you see a lot of time we had a term called CCM. Continuous control monitoring, but continuous control monitoring has also multiple generation, like generation 1, generation 2, generation 3, generation 4. The generation 5 is autonomous control monitoring, which is like I set up the whole thing. As you rightly said, why should I only do sampling when I can actually boil the ocean? I can set it up. So our idea was I can have a kind of a, like SAP system is our main transaction process system. And even when SAP says that you should keep the core clean. Don't do any kind of mess up in code. Let the core be clean and do whatever you want to do outside. So we have an add-on which we try to put it up there. So the data comes into our thing and autonomously we are actually building it up at a very real-time basis. When I say real-time basis, we are learning, like for example, I know you have a product on Audit Trail. Now you saw that there is a compliance requirement which has come and you built it up and it is actually doing good in the market. A lot of people are asking about that. So similarly, what we wanted to do is we want to build up new insights, some of them autonomous, which keeps on learning from the thing. So the biggest problem in audit is false positive. People have huge amount of false positive. We wanted to, make that thing. And to some extent, we have been very successful because we have right now more than 70 to 20 installations which people are right now using and some more are going on. So it's actually like they are testing it, trying it up and all the thing, and it is doing amazing results. because earlier
Interesting.
they never used to have this chance to basically have at a real time basis what, and I say when I say real time, it will not be like as real time, maybe one day, within one day you can do it, and not wait for your auditors to come after 6 months or 1 year and then understand what's going wrong in the organization. So we always believe in one theory, or I would say formula, that if you want to say data is the new oil, you need to become a refinery, only then it is of some use, otherwise not.
Correct. So since you play a lot with data, all your products deals with data, do kind of data mining. I still remember 6-7 years back when I was in your office, you were
Yes.
speaking about data mining, and some compliance related stuff, right? Now every country is coming up with their own data privacy, data protection
Yes.
laws, right? And
Yes.
in fact, India is coming up with the DPDPA.
Yeah.
So what is your view on this data privacy laws, and how is that you are actually, or probably let me put this way, how your solutions are really helping or gonna help the enterprises?
Okay, that's a good point. Actually, I am very actively working on the DPDP side, DPDPA, which is there as a, in fact, there was some of the course which was developed by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. I was part of the team. And I'm actually telling you that government of India has taken a chance that if we want to play with the big boys of the world, we need to have a proper data privacy and data protection, protection act, which is
DPO.
there, DPO. And all that things are actually very much needed. But there is a challenge which we are seeing right now. India Inc. is still trying to understand this one. As of now, India Inc. is trying to do it, because there are questions like data sovereignty also which will come into picture. There are also things like everyone talks about 250 crore rupees penalty as per instance and all thing, and that scares everyone out. But I think if we want to become a kind of a $5 trillion economy and all the thing, we need to have some protection in terms of the way we are dealing with. Having said that, I am still not very optimist in the way India Inc. is going on, because most of the engagement which are happening right now is gap assessment. I'm sure, but in future, it is very much going to be required that in the application, we need to build it up that, that's kind of thing, anonymizing the data, moving off the data out and all that kind of thing, the PII part and all thing. That would be interesting, Raghu, to see. But we have some time, so I think we are in India. We do last minute most of the things, so you will see a lot of things happening last minute. People.
And even the same thing what I see from a MCA Rule 11G standpoint, right? Meaning,
Yes.
when we approach customers that okay, we have a product which helps you to adhere to this particular compliance requirement, they said this is not relevant to us. But the same customer now comes back and then say, I need this product to be implemented in the next 1 week.
Yes, you are right perfectly, because the auditor will say that we are not going to certify without. And in fact, there is also the change which has happened, if you are aware of that. Along with MC, income tax also has come out, 40G or something they have come out with. Yeah. And now this is what I always say is, I would say I don't blame it up. It is in our DNA as Indians. We are like, we can figure it out in the last minute only when it is there. I was thinking of myself also. There are sometimes I also do like that only. But we need to figure it out. I think we need to move fast on that, both on the MCA side as well as DPDPA. And this will be important actually, because I think government will also try to make an example by at least doing penalty for few of the organization and the beginning. They will also do that. It's not going to leave it so easily when there is a lot of detail of happened, which is that.
No, but as I said, leave the compliance apart. From a fraud standpoint, right? For you to understand what fraud is happening in the system, right?
Yes.
It is always good to have the audit trail enabled, review them time to time, and so that is an advantage more than a compliance burden. It is an advantage on enterprises, right? The same thing with DPDPA or any of the other stuff which is coming in.
Yes, I think Raghu, what you're saying is perfectly right. I will tell you something. I saw it during my career as an auditor. I found two kind of people. One kind of people, they used to always say, in the meeting, they never used to be defensive. They used to say, okay, what is going wrong? Tell us that. We said, this is going wrong. And then they say, what we can do to fix it up. They used to use our thing to make their processes better. That is the thing. And then there used to be another set of people who used to be always defensive. This is not okay. This is this, that is the thing. But I always found the people who are not defensive and they're accepting and they're going it, they partner with you, they grow up very fast in the organization. You will see those guys, leading the organization very fast because they know, as you rightly said, that it is not just for the compliance purpose. What we can do better, what kind of things can go away. That is something which has to come. I think this will require a mindset change for people. And, I always say there is also kind of a fear. Sometimes I see this, that government of India is too ahead in the technology game and India Inc. is still trying to catch up. So
Yeah, I see a real gap
yes,
there.
that's what he said.
Yeah. So the same point, I also see that all the big fours or the key audit firms, I'll not limit that to big fours. Even the key audit firms which are in India, operating from India, maybe they are shipping AI audit tools. There are instances where we heard that some of the big fours have utilized AI to evaluate certain data and then give the report rather than looking it actually, right?
Yes.
Let's not reveal the names now, but this is what we heard, right? What is your view on that, and how you think AJI Labs as a boutique firm can do differently?
Yeah, I think that's a very good point which you mention it up. See, I always say this one thing, especially transforming technologies like, you were there when internet came. I remember we used to go and, stand in this cyber cafes for, hours and all the thing and do that. If you tell a kid today that, internet was not there all the time where availability of information, they will laugh at us. But this was a transformative technology. Now, AI is a transformative technology, and I also gave it is something like fire. We need to be careful how we use it. In fact, that's what we always tell it. We use a lot of AI agents for our coding purpose in our automation, but we are very careful that even when we are using it, there is a final review will happen by the someone human who's doing it, because we want to make sure it is clear. This I have in fact posted on LinkedIn last week on this, the risk of creating AI agents without having controls. It is guardrails and everything, because the classic issue is, I remember long back when I used to do audit of RPA tools, which came at that time, robotic process automation. We found in one of the bank that they have put the source, the root user ID password of the core banking system in the bot. So imagine if someone actually controls the bot, they control everything. So these are the risks. In fact, there is a new risk of AI also, the model risk which are there, the algorithm which we are using, how we are basically, the biasness can come, the guardrails are required, and hallucination, everyone knows about that. Having said that, we had the famous case of Bangalore ITAT, it is in public domain, where the order which was issued had fake references to the case. So my point is that I have one very interesting reference point for me. There is a Gartner has given a very interesting thing. They said, for probabilistic systems and other things, you should never use generative AI. If you are actually using it for knowledge discovery and all things, you can actually do it. For that, it is better to use machine learning and other kind of tools which are there. So my point is that how we differentiate it, we create use cases in this domain. We create new use cases which are not like the run of the mill which we see it up. Because generative AI, I am telling you, you will see, Raghu, in few days, people are going to have token auditors also. Who is token using auditors? More token? You will see who will audit that how much token was used by different departments. And just like costing enabled happen, you will see all these things coming, because we have seen it like Uber used the complete IT budget in 2 months. So we have this kind of issues coming. Having said that, I think people will realize very soon, and this ad hocism will go away. And a structured way we can do it, and that's what we do in AJ Labs. We are very, very careful. Even if we try to use anything, we will try to make a blueprint. We have a documentation for that. the control points, kill switch, everything is put into the autonomous models before we basically try to put it up there. That's how we differentiate ourselves. Actually.
Understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be the next course in your ICAI domain.
I know that there is a
Auditing token.
yes, auditing token. In fact, there are talks going on right now. There is one association. I figure it out. They closed shop. I don't know because how, but in Chicago there was an algorithmic audit association AAA.
Oh.
Just like they came out and then they closed shop in between. I don't know why, but yeah, there will be something coming up. I'm sure.
But I still feel there is a need because today, if you look at AI is being misutilized or overutilized, right?
I completely agree.
So if I want to ask a question rather than Googling, I go to ChatGPT or some other GPT and then ask that question there. Wherein instead of one line answer, you get 100 lines of answers, right?
Yeah. And I'm sure all of the people who are listening, your listener to the podcast will have seen this, that suddenly all their team members are writing very descriptive mails and all the thing, which never used to happen. So, this guy is writing this kind of mail. Oh my God, how is it possible? But actually, this is the misuse. And I'm telling you, this is happening because we are getting subsidized tokens. I think everyone want to train their model and they're giving the model up. We are using it. And it is the day you start paying for that, then you will see the actual use. In fact, you were asking me that question, right? What happened to the people? I am telling you, if you try to take the task done by human and by the tokens, if anyone does a cost benefit analysis, because I'm a finance guy, we always try to do it. It will be interesting to see actually.
Correct. So if I may ask you, what is the most overhyped AI use case in audit and finance right now?
Overhyped. Okay, I would say generative AI, talking to that data. I have seen some of the solutions and all thing, and I was attending it. Like everyone is giving that, hey, you know what? You can talk to the data, but that is very overhyped. Basically you say, how much is my sales from this sector, and it gives you that thing, or can me exceptions. These are it looks very fancy that you talk to the data, but I think it's overhyped because the moment you see the amount of token uses and other things, people will not want to do that. And I think that's where we would actually see a kind of correction coming in that one in time to come. I would say I'm a big fan of generative AI. When December 2022 ChatGPT was launched, I was very excited. We were actually playing with that as one of the early paid user. I was actually out there. But I think generative AI is good for some other part. You should people are not seeing the power of machine learning and deep learning, which are, I would say also computer vision is going to be interesting.
So for many of the people, AI is only generative AI.
Yes.
Right. I would say 90% of the people stuck there, maybe asking for some presentation, asking for to rewrite some email or, some code, right, that they want to quickly generate.
Yes.
But AI is beyond it. Machine learning is beyond it. So if I recollect back from our discussion 6-7 years ago, if I'm not wrong, you have an analytic platform that you have built in, which tells you what is the sales, and then you can deep dive further and then go to any level, right?
Yes.
Which is exactly what it does, what AI is doing today.
Very much.
Correct.
You're right. And we thought that instead of we thought it can be built up in any organization because standard, you should not waste it up, because generative AI, we can use it for more advanced users where you want to basically deal with that. The key thing which is happening right now is, as you rightly said, we are only seeing one tool because it was easy to use, something which is the low hanging fruit which people are trying to put it up there.
Yes, yeah, understand. So, yeah, good. I think we had real great insights. So let me probably get you out of all these challenging things which are, day in, day out stuff for you. So if I may ask you to give one advice to our SAP Security and GRC crowd, our members, our fellow colleagues, what is that you want to give, from a learning standpoint, right? Let's say if you don't learn this in the next couple of years, which is where you feel you don't have a great career.
I would say, I had worked, as you rightly extensive with the GRC crowd and all thing. I think my feeling to the youngsters who are coming in this field, whether it's in basis and other things and all of the thing, they need to have the business knowledge if they are coming from a technical background. And if they're coming from the business background, they should have the technical side. I think we need to, there is a term which I heard from one of the Stanford professor. It's called the purple people. They said, the blue color represent technical know-how and the red color represent the business know-how. When you mix both of them, you get a color purple. We need more purple people. And I would say it can be either way. It's not a kind of agnostic to which area, but they need to upgrade ourselves because the technology is changing very fast. Even the SAP landscape is changing very fast with all the BTP and other things which is coming. I would say it's time, people have to also look into the ITGC part of that. When SAP rise and it's all going onto the cloud and all things, there are new risks which are emerging, which we never thought of. I'm just thinking a lot because SAP audit used to be one of my, loved area because I used to enjoy that kind of thing. We used to see that everyone is focused on application control, but ITGC, sometimes we miss out on that. And we try to see only from the SOD perspective, not see the big picture. So I think time has come where we have to have a holistic knowledge, expand our horizon and all things. That's my, take to all the fellow GRC folks, that we can't just say that, oh, I knew this is great. We need to keep on upgrading ourselves.
Okay. So the other side of it, if you have to give an advice to a fellow chartered accountant or an internal auditor or a risk management guy or a GRC guy, one advice to unlearn, what is that?
They have to unlearn one thing: sampling. Sampling, they have to unlearn. This is actually a kind of a really bad thing which is there. It's in our thing. I would say one thing, if you just say, I will just say sampling. Come out of sampling. Do the whole population. It's possible. Today, if anyone says not feasible, I would not agree. Yeah.
Great. So, sometimes I feel like Anand is a Anand Baba. Okay.
No.
Do a lot of magics with data, do a lot of magics in internal audit, right? So let's actually consider that Anand is Anand Baba for a minute. And I want to hear one prediction from you for 2030.
2030. Oh my God. Okay. Sir, it's a very long shot, but I am actually telling you 2030, I can assure you one thing for sure. AI will become a commodity by that time, and it would be something which my gut feeling is, it will be something which is like rationed to every department. It's like going to be, okay, you can use intelligence. See, the challenge is, like, I'll tell you one thing. When I heard it from one of the professor in IIM Bangalore, one of the thing, till now, intelligence was only with humans. For the first time, intelligence has come out. So it would be used effectively. We will be having a time where it is going to be there. But my gut feeling is there by 2030, it will become more mature. It will be like, you remember the dot-com boom, first dot-com boom, everything was like that. Everyone was pumping money. As of now, that is the situation we are in. There is going to be a small crash, and then there is going to be a kind of upward trend. So that's my gut feeling, I'm saying. Let's hope 2030 will meet again and we'll actually say that we spoke like that, how true it came up.
I actually want to do one more, probably a podcast with you in 2030 and understand.
Yes, that would be
this
amazing.
podcast back and then understand what we discussed and what it is. Right? Great.
This is something which is interesting because, Raghu, you remember 10 years back, even generative AI before it came 2022, we never thought we can actually use AI the way we are doing. You have a lot of things in store, but it's good. Yes, boss.
Yeah, good. So, I think we discussed about a lot of stuff on audit and AI especially, right? So I want to keep it simple now. Few rapid round questions. I would say fun round questions.
Okay,
right?
Great.
So I'm expecting one-line answers, not really lengthy answers.
Okay,
right?
Great. Yes.
So chai or coffee during a late night audit?
Chai always. India runs on chai.
Excel or a dashboard?
Dashboard.
What is your weapon?
Dashboard. Excel is
Dash-
great, right? Yes.
Okay. So one word for a big four audit manager who is working at 2 a.m. In a busy season, audit season.
You need to upgrade your tools. You need to upgrade your tools.
Okay. One other interesting blockchain in one word. Is it a revolution or a burden?
It's a okay, interesting thing. I may be biased, but little longer answer I'll give you. Blockchain is a revolution if we can use it properly. It is not being used properly. That's my thought process on that.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's say
So,
you got a control Z
uh,
option in your life. What is that one thing you want to undo?
okay, a lot of things are there. One thing I would like to undo is actually, if you see everything or nothing, I'm enjoying the thing. Only thing I would think
Okay.
my health part. I had a
Yeah,
bout
that's a
of
great
issues.
point.
My
You
health
should
part.
say,
I want, yeah.
your heart issue.
Yes, that heart issue.
You
That
want
is
to
the thing.
undo.
Yeah, I want to undo my heart issue. I had also a TB when I was doing the TDS CPC project. So I have been multiple. I think I abused my body a lot. So body hit back. So I think I want to undo that part.
Okay. So I want you to finish the sentence. The scariest thing that I have ever found in a trial balance was.
Trial balance not telling. That is scariest thing always. Trial balance not telling. That is very scary for us.
Okay. So you are using AI, probably, you said ChatGPT, you were the initial set of users who subscribed. So tell me one wrong answer that AI gave you that you felt is right, that, I don't know, and then Anand and the ChatGPT gave a different thing.
Okay, the answer which ChatGPT gave, which was wrong actually. That is you
Wrong, and
want.
then you felt it is right.
Right. Okay. I would say initially, I don't know if you know, it used to hallucinate a lot.
Correct.
And actually, I still remember in the initial thing, a lot of people don't know the GPT-1 model and all thing. Once it actually gave me the capital of India was Kolkata. I think it was giving from something. And we knew exactly it is hallucinating something issue. But next time you give it right. But not much more than that. But I think we have seen this happening in machine learning models initially. Like I'll give you one example where one machine learning works very good for one client. We were like, this is great, this model is great. And similar client, we run it again, it was wrong because we didn't understand the business process very well. Because one client was working on L1 vendors. They were always giving the project to L1 vendors. Second one was giving share of business. So I realized that AI is not one size fit all.
Correct. So this particular question, I don't want you to be very diplomatic.
Yes.
Tokyo, US, or Bangalore, which is the place what Anand likes the most
Bangalore.
from a business standpoint.
Oh, business is no. This is a kind of, you're making it tricky actually. Okay, heart and home is Bangalore. Bangalore is like lovely place. But yeah, US in would number one in terms of business part. I would say business is US, but otherwise Bangalore.
That is what making you sit in US for almost 6 months in a year.
You can say tried my best to juggle between that because delivery is from here. That's the thing.
So one last closing sentence to my SAP Security Experts group.
Okay, I would say listen more to Raghu sir. Actually, I have been being very, very thankful to him because a lot of advices, and I have met him. We have gone out together and all thing. Amazing advice, and I have been actually following his blog also, which he writes. So I would say follow him. It's actually good. I also myself follow him. So that's always nice to have it up, sir.
Right, great. Thanks a lot, Anand. I think it's one of the great podcast I've hosted. Heard a lot about AA and internal audit, and as always, you are our guy to get a lot of information. Handful of information, and hope to see you in few other podcasts in the upcoming days. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you, Raghu. I think 2030 we should block it up right now.
Yeah, let's do that.
Thanks a lot for having me, and really appreciate the time and giving me this opportunity.
Pleasure is ours.
Thank you very much.